So this is my ranking of the movies in this wonderful franchise. This is definitely one of the most consistent horror franchises, and it is one of my favorites in horror. Number 6, Scream 3. This is the weakest entry in this franchise for me. It is not a bad movie, but I think it is very weak when it comes to characters and the reveal. The reveal feels so tacked on, and it really felt like the franchise was losing steam at this point. The main trio don't get much to do, and the new characters are not well written. Parker Posey though is fun in this movie, and she really goes for it in her performance, but overall this movie just feels like they lost creativity. Number 5, Scream 4. This is a decent movie, even though it is very pedestrian and even though Jill Roberts' motive is with the times. It was yet another relative to Sidney that wanted to kill her. The kills are weak aside from one very gory one. The opening scene is probably the weakest one in the franchise, and even though it is creative, it is a bit too meta. Number 4, Scream 6. This was a fresh and suspenseful movie until the third act. Everything up until then is very good, and it is a strong entry with an amazing opening scene that is refreshing and creative. Number 3, Scream 5. After 11 years, the franchise was back, and the expectations were high for me. This movie almost does everything right. The new characters are overall very good. You get an opening scene that is an homage to the opening scene in the original Scream, with a twist. The humor and the meta works for the most part. Also, the movie has stakes. There was just the scene when Judy gets killed by Ghostface that I find had no credibility when it comes to where and when it was happening. Also, the CGI for Skeet Ulrich in Sam's visions sometimes work and sometimes they don't. And sure, we do get the boyfriend scheme again, but he is very different to Billy as a character, and his motives are also very different to Billy's. Number 2, Scream 2. A great opening scene with some of the greatest chase scenes in the franchise. The character arcs for the original trio also work here. Though it is not as fun in the humor as the original, and the motive kind of feels like a homage to Miss Voorhees from Friday the 13th. It is a great sequel though. Number 1 is, as expected, the first movie in this ranking. None of the sequels have managed to get to these heights as of yet. The opening scene where you were led to believe Drew Barrymore is the lead in the movie and she dies within the first 15 minutes was amazing. The introduction to our actual lead is also very good, and we get clued in on the backstory in very subtle ways. Sidney Prescott is an amazing final girl, and you get subtle clues to her character with the backstory affecting her costuming too. Neve Campbell does a great job throughout this movie, and the reveal, even though you kind of suspect Billy from the start, you do get misdirected if it is actually him or not, and the two killers revealed with him and Stu was something new at the time for the slasher genre. And the chase scenes are also amazing, and the score and soundtrack is chilling, an absolute masterpiece. So this was my ranking of the Scream franchise. This is one of my absolute favorite franchises, and I'm excited for Scream 7. This has been Boogeyman Cinema. Thank you for watching.